Chapter 18. Sitting on the side of the stage next to Mrs. Bolland and Mr. Hayes, I look out at the rest of the school. The hall is packed, every class sitting cross-legged on the floor, while the teachers huddle around the edges. It's easy to spot my class sitting halfway down on the right. In their alien costumes, they look like a band of extraterrestrial bounty hunters who've been down to school by mistake, marooned in a sea of royal blue school uniforms. In the front row, the littlest kids are bouncing up and down with excitement, pointing up at the stage as they talk among themselves. But I'm not the person they're excited to see. He's on the huge projector screen that's descended from the ceiling to fill most of the stage. I glance up at this to see my dad floating on the ISS. Hello, Austin Park Primary. This is Commander Dan Drake, and I'd like to welcome you all aboard the International Space Station. Everyone starts clapping and cheering, their excited whoops filling the hall with noise. I didn't know any of this was happening until I got to the school hall. Haley Collins was waiting for me there and explained our dad was feeling bad about missing my birthday on Friday, so they set up this live link as a birthday surprise. Raising his hands, Mr. Hayes gestures for quiet. So, their teacher says, speaking into the microphone that's transmitting his words to the ISS. Who's got the first question for Jamie's dad? A forest of hands shoots up across the hall. Your class teachers have all got roving microphones so that Commander Drake can hear your questions. So if you're picked to ask a question, wait until you've got hold of the microphone before you start to speak. Mr. Hayes drops his gaze onto the front row. There, a little kid with black curly hair looks like he's trying to pull his own arm out of its socket, thrusting his hand high as it will go in his desperation to get picked. Let's start with a question from Miss Brightman's class. Harrison, isn't it? As his face lights up with excitement, the boy nods his head as Miss Brightman rushes to hand him her roving microphone. Don't forget, it's a long way up to the International Space Station, so speak as loudly and as clearly as you can. Harrison wraps both his hands around the microphone, staring up in wonder at my dad on the projector screen. That's when I recognise this little kid. It's the baby alien boy who stopped me in the corridor on Monday morning, and I instantly know what question he's going to ask. How do you go to the toilet in space? Everyone starts laughing, even Mr. Hayes. There's a 2-second delay, and then Dad joins in too. That's a very good question, Harrison, he says, trying to pretend he hasn't been asked this a million times before. Dad lets go of his microphone for a second, letting this float in front of him. As you can see, the microgravity up here can make going to the toilet a little tricky. Luckily, the toilets on the International Space Station are use suction, a bit like a vacuum cleaner at home, to make sure you don't end up with any unpleasant floaters. Dad grabs hold of his microphone again. But on my spacewalk tomorrow, I'll be wearing maximum absorbency underpants just in case I need a wee. I sink down in my chair as everyone laughs again. Now the whole school knows that my dad will be wearing a space nappy tomorrow. Luckily, that's the only question about Dad's toilet habits, as Mr. Hayes fields the questions from the rest of the school. What's it like being weightless all the time? What do you eat and drink on the space station? What can you see out of the window right now? As Dad answers them all, talking about how great it is to be in space and showing off some of the cool things he can do in microgravity along the way, like spinning a space somersault, drinking water droplets out of the air, and playing with a yo-yo that I bought him for Christmas. Let's take a couple of questions from Jamie's classmates now, Mr. Hayes says, his gaze landing on the alien outpost of Class 6. What do you want to ask, Aaron? Aaron lowers his Dalek plunger as our teaching assistant, Miss Tyler, hands him a microphone. What would happen if you forgot to put your spacesuit on before you spacewalk tomorrow? He asks. There's the usual 2-second delay before Dad begins his reply. Well, he says, my spacesuit is really more of a spaceship. It's called an extravehicular mobility unit, or EMU for short. The life support backpack gives me 8 hours of oxygen, and the rocket propulsion system of the Advanced Manned Manoeuvring Unit that fits over the EMU will transport me safely to the higher orbit of the Lux Eterna launch platform. Inside my helmet, there's a communication system that lets me talk to mission control, and a built-in video camera that lets them see exactly what I'm doing. But what would happen if you forgot to put this on? Aaron interrupts, the egg whisk stuck to his head wobbling as he keeps a tight hold on the microphone. There's a burst of static as Dad and Aaron's voices overlap, which gives Miss Tyler the chance to wrestle the microphone out of Aaron's grasp. Then Dad's voice fills the hall again. Well, space is a dangerous place. There's cosmic radiation to contend with. The temperature can veer from 120 degrees Celsius to minus 150 degrees in the shade. And without any air to breathe in the vacuum of space, I'd probably suffocate in about 15 seconds flat. I shift uneasily in my seat, suddenly wishing I was anywhere but here. Let's have another question, Mr. Hayes says brightly. What do you want to ask, Araminta? Taking the microphone in her lizard claw, Minty fixes my dad with a bug-eyed glare. Can I go on one of the light swan spaceships, she demands. I want to meet the aliens. Up on the big screen, a huge grin spreads across my dad's face. Looking at the picture your teacher sent me of your intergalactic outfits, I thought I'd made contact with an alien already, but I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to hitch a ride back to your home planet on one of the light swarm probes. Dad reached out a shot to pick something up, and when he reappears on screen, I see he's holding what looks like a silver postage stamp in the palm of his hand. I recognise this immediately as one of the light swarm probes. You see, these tiny spacecraft are only 1 centimetre long, and there's no space for anyone to hitch a ride. With a delicate touch, Dad slides out a tiny black chip from the heart of the probe. It looks just like any SD card you find inside your phone. This wafer-sized chip weighs less than a gram, but contains all the probe's cameras, its communication system and power source. When I reach the Habzone module that looks to turn a launch platform tomorrow, I'll make sure all these chips are fitted to the light swarm probes before I press the button to send them on a 108 trillion kilometre trip to Tau Ceti. The school hall is silent now as everyone stares at the interstellar spaceship that fits into the palm of Dad's hand. Of course, it's not just my spacewalk tomorrow that I got marked on my calendar tomorrow, Dad continues, placing the probe out of shot. There's another reason that it's a special day. As he reappears on the screen, I can see that he's holding a gift wrap box. I think there's time for just one final question. This is my cue. Hayley has explained everything to me, and she's now standing in the wings on the other side of the stage, holding the same gift wrap box in her arms. As Mr. Hayes hands me the microphone, I know exactly what I'm supposed to say, written down on a scrap of paper just in case I forget. Hey Dad, it's Jamie. What have you got me for my birthday? Then Dad's going to wish me a happy birthday for tomorrow, and Hayley will walk out to give me my birthday present. When she saw how worried I was looking, Hayley couldn't stop herself from telling me what's under the wrapping paper. It's a Lego model of the International Space Station and looks to turn a launch platform. It even comes with a minifigure of my dad in his EMU spacesuit. Hayley says it's one of a kind. It should be the best birthday present ever. But as I look up at Dad on the projector screen, I feel a sudden urge of anger. Is this what life is going to be like now? Sharing my dad with a room full of strangers and getting my birthday presents second hand. Having everyone think that my dad's some kind of superhero and really is tearing our family apart. I grip the microphone more tightly, my knuckles whitening as I stare up at Dad's smile. Are you there, Jamie? He asks, a slight echo on his words as they fill the school hall. Mr. Hayes clears his throat to let my dad know that the satellite link is still working. From the other side of the stage, Hayley shoots me a worried look, her arms sagging slightly under the weight of the Lego box. A faint buzz from the phone in my pocket reminds me that Dad doesn't know everything after all. There's a lump in my throat the size of a small planet, and as I fight back my tears, I know the question I've got to ask. If it's so great being an astronaut, why don't you just stay up there? It takes 2 seconds for my question to reach Dad on the ISS, so before he even has the chance to answer, I drop the microphone and run off the stage. Jamie! I hear Hayley and my teachers call me back, then the sound of Dad's voice crashing through the speakers. Jamie, are you okay? But I keep on running, out of the hall and past the empty classrooms, out through the door across the playground, out of the school gates and down the street, not stopping until I finally run out of breath. I can't stop myself from crying as I stare up into the clear blue sky. Through my tears I see the sun shining down uncaringly. According to Mrs. Solomon, the light that's now hitting my eyes left the surface of the sun 8 minutes and 20 seconds ago. That was probably when Dad was showing off his yo-yo tricks on the ISS. Before I told him he should just stay in space if he was having so much fun up there. What's the point of him coming home if he's not planning to stay? I feel my mobile phone vibrating in my pocket, the muffled sound of Buzz's voice calling out to me. I pull it out to see the golden spiral on the home screen spinning frantically. Jamie! Buzz's voice sounds almost anxious. There's a storm coming. With a hollow laugh, I hold the phone up to the bright blue sky. Don't be stupid, I say. There's not a cloud in sight. Before Buzz can speak again, My mobile phone starts ringing. I look down at the caller display and see 3 letters there. Dad. With a fresh surge of fury, I stab my finger against the power button. The ringtone cuts out as the screen fades to black.